It is that time of year again, time to fall back. That's right, we're going to move our clocks back an hour this weekend. While it means that you could get an extra hour of sleep, sometimes daylight saving time really messes with your body. So here today to talk about making sleep adjustments and staying healthy during all of this is Dr. Alicia Beal, a family medicine provider at Novant Health, Salem Family Medicine in Winston-Salem. We're also taking your sleep-related questions. You can text them to the number that is on your screen right now. That's 336-379-5775. All right, so we know daylight saving time, it is this weekend, and we think to ourselves, okay, it's just 1 hour, but why does it seem to interfere with our sleep schedules and our mood so much?
Well, our sleep is very, very important, and it is linked with our circadian rhythm to the sun. So when we start making adjustments back and forth by an hour, it does affect our ability to fall asleep and stay asleep, given that we are so linked to our diet, our exercise, and sunlight.
Okay, so we don't have a choice. The time is going to change. The sunlight's going to go up earlier and set earlier. So what are some things that maybe we should be doing or we should not be doing that's interfering with our sleep and we just maybe don't realize it?
Sleep hygiene is actually really, really important. One of the things I do with lifestyle medicine, which is a specialty focus of mine, is helping people with restorative sleep. And most people don't realize that there are things that they can do to help them in their environment, such as making sure they have a bedtime routine starting an hour before bedtime, making sure the room is dark, that we don't have green, blue, or white lights in our room. Use red lights instead as night lights. Obviously, we want a night light. We don't want people falling over in the middle of the night and hurting themselves. Making sure our bedclothes are comfortable. You need to have warm linens and a cool core to be able to fall asleep. And so if you have uncomfortable bedclothes or pets in the room that are interfering with your sleep, that will cause you to have more disrupted sleep. Another key thing is not drinking caffeinated beverages during the day, like afternoon to evening, doing that more in the morning, not drinking alcohol right before you go to sleep or having a high sodium meal. These all interfere with being able to fall asleep.
Okay, and that red light, that's very interesting to me because you think of a night light is usually a white light, maybe it's like that blue light or something like that, and it
Mhm.
needs to be a red light.
Red light is better because you have receptors in your eyes that look at the color intensity as well as what color range you're in. And blue light, and if there's ranges within blue, actually look a lot more like daylight, and it can suppress your melatonin production. And red light does not suppress your melatonin. Everybody wakes up an hour and a half to 2 hours throughout the night, and most people don't remember it. They just flutter their eyes to go to sleep. But if you have these white lights or green lights or blue lights around you, you flutter your eyes open and your brain goes, oh, it must be daylight, and it'll wake you up the rest of the way.
Oh, okay, interesting. All right, and something else about the sleep environment that you said warm linens but a cool core.
Right. So one of the ways you fall asleep is that your core actually releases the blood out to the limbs so that your limbs will warm and your core will cool down. And that's a signal to fall asleep. If you've ever wakened up and suddenly felt hot, that's a sign that your body is waking up because your core is starting to heat back up again. So you want to make sure that you're comfortable in your bed linen so that you can be warm, comfortably warm, but not so warm that you can't cool your core down. That's why having a little cool glass of water next to your bed in the middle of the night if you wake up, have a little sip of that to help cool down your core.
Okay, that is why people keep water by the bed. Okay, so what about
Mhm.
seasonal affective disorder? I think a lot of us are going to like be looking at this within the next month or two when it starts really getting cold and it starts getting gray.
Mhm. Um, so seasonal affective disorder is a real disorder. It's a variety of depression. It's a real disease. And so if you're having significant depression, you need to go see your doctor because we're going to treat it as depression. But if you're having kind of a subclinical aspect of it, really working on your circadian rhythm, going out in the afternoon for about 20 minutes, hydrating well, because again, that allows you to cool your core, and at night being well hydrated. You want to do that in the afternoon, setting a carb heavy breakfast in the morning about 45 minutes after you wake up so your body anticipates that and releases the cortisol anticipation of that, and actually exercising. All of that, sleep hygiene, exercise, and diet all work towards adjusting your circadian rhythm.
And is there anything to when you exercise and whether that impacts your sleep?
The afternoon is actually a great time to exercise and hydrate. But yeah, again, if you're getting outside, you're getting at least 20 minutes of sun exposure, you're hydrating, that all works toward helping you to set your circadian rhythm to allow you to sleep better.
Okay. All right.
And one other thing I would say about seasonal affective disorder is that cognitive behavioral therapy is actually very effective for sleep disorders. And if you're having seasonal affective disorder, working with a counselor can help you too.
So what did you say was effective cognitive?
Cognitive behavioral therapy, it's often abbreviated CBT. So if you're talking with a counselor, saying just CBT, and they'll know what that is.
Okay, all right. So what we're doing is we're going to be taking your questions when we come back. Like, I'm curious, does melatonin really work? Is that okay? What about drinking like a chamomile tea or, warm milk before you go to bed? We've heard all these things. Do they actually work? Do they help? We're going to ask those questions. We're going to take your questions as well. 336-379-5775.